Hi there, this is Jonathan Ginsberg. I'm a Social Security disability attorney, and today I'd like to talk to you about the situation where Social Security offers to approve your case, but they change the onset date. And we see this frequently in decisions either at initial or recon, where you get a letter from Social Security that says, we have looked at your record, we find that you meet the qualifications for disability as of a certain date. Let's just use November 2016 as a date. Even though you alleged your onset was April of 2014, we're going to go ahead and approve you as of November 2016. Or it could happen at a hearing where you go to the hearing and you're again alleging an onset date of April of 2014. The judge says, counselor, looking at the record, I think that the medical supports a finding of disability as of November 2016, but not before. Will you agree to amend your onset date? And obviously the problem here for you as a claimant is that if you do that, if you accept the amended onset date, then that's going to eliminate tens or hundreds or thousands of dollars of past due benefits. So obviously past due benefits from 2014 is going to be a lot more money than past due benefits from 2016. I'm recording this in 2017. So what should you do? Well, one option is if you get this decision at the administrative level, initial or recon, you can say, no, I'm going to go ahead and appeal it. I'm going to go ahead and pursue my appeal, reject the offer, and continue on to go to a hearing and get the case in front of the judge. The issue with that is, number one, you don't get any money. Number two is you get in front of a judge, and the judge could say, I don't think you're disabled at all. So even though Social Security at the administrative level found you disabled, the judge could say, no, I don't think you're disabled at all. And that's because the decisions by various judges, there's a lot of inconsistency, and some judges approve very, very small numbers of cases. Now, my experience has been generally, if your case is clear enough that a judge is going to approve you, that Social Security is going to approve you administratively, a judge is probably going to take the same position. But again, it's always a risk to do it. And I've had a couple of situations where my client rejected the administrative approval, went to the hearing, and the judge said no. So again, that's not a great situation to be in. And in those cases, there were some drug and alcohol issues and some other things going on. But bottom line is there's a risk there. Now, when you get to a hearing, a lot of times what will happen is the judge will do this, will say, I'm prepared to find this case favorable as of November 2016 because of the grid rules. In other words, when you turn age 50 and again at age 55, the grid rules can come into play. That's a way to find you automatically disabled. Look at my website, gridrules.net, for more information about the grid rules. And a lot of times judges will say, I'm prepared to find you disabled as of your 50th birthday, as of your 55th birthday. And the thing with that is that if you accept that, it gives the judge a shortcut to go ahead and approve you. If you turn it down, the judge is going to have to look at your case with a whole different theory of disability. He's going to have to look at it as a functional capacity argument type of case. And again, that may be less desirable for you. Now, the judge could always issue a partially favorable decision, or the judge could deny the case entirely, or the judge could find in your favor and approve your case completely. This is something that, as an attorney, when I'm at the hearing, I try to take the temperature of what's going on. If the judge says to me at the very beginning of the case, I don't know that I can find that this case is going to be approved as of the original onset date, I may say, well, Judge, let's take testimony. Let's look at the evidence and we can talk about that afterwards. If the judge makes this proposal to me after taking testimony, then I basically have to tell my client, you can take the risk of either a denial or a partially favorable decision, or you can take what's being offered to you. So again, if you do refuse the early onset or the later onset date and the early approval, you will not get any money, and you run the risk your case could be disapproved entirely. If you appeal and you win, you could come out looking pretty good. But again, that's one of these things that you and your attorney ought to talk about. My experience has been that normally I can kind of spot this sort of problem early on. There's not a lot of medical records going back to the earlier onset date. There's a clear delineation of some sort of a medical problem after the original onset date. The original onset date was way, way too early. Again, the grid rules might come into play. Any number of things. So I'm usually prepared for it, but that's one of these things that you need to discuss with your attorney so that if it does come come up at a hearing, you're not trying to understand all these different concepts in a 2-minute conference with your attorney outside in the hallway, having to make a decision that could have a pretty significant impact on your life. So that's basically what I would tell you as far as what to deal with, how to deal with a situation where Social Security offers to approve you at a later date. Now, one final point, this is actually really important, and that is that the onset date needs to be, that Social Security ends up with, needs to be prior to your date last insured for Social Security disability, Title II, SSDI, because if your onset date, the amended onset date is after your date last insured for SSDI, when your insurance coverage runs out, you won't be eligible for SSDI, and SSI is going to pay a lot less money and they're offsets. So one of the things, if you're dealing with this without an attorney, you need to know your date last insured for Title II disability. That's the last date that you could be found disabled and still be eligible for SSDI. Normally it's about 5 years after you stop working, but there is a set date and you need to know that. So if you're dealing with this at the administrative level, initial or recon, and the judge says to you, or the Social Security says to you, we're going to go ahead and approve you as of November 2016, but your date last insured was July of 2015, that's a problem, and that's one where I would say go ahead and appeal. You really probably have nothing much to lose unless you do qualify for SSI and you feel like that's the best you can do. So anyway, these are some things you should discuss with your attorney, but I did want to make you aware of that this does happen. It seems to be happening more often. I think Social Security is using this to change the onset date to reduce the money going out. And again, sometimes it's completely unwarranted and sometimes there is a logic behind it. Hope you found this helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up on YouTube, like it on Facebook, and let me know if you have any questions. So for now, this is Jonathan Ginsberg, wishing you the best. Thank you. Hi, this is Jonathan Ginsberg, and I hope you found this video helpful. If you'd like to know more about how to win your Social Security disability case, I'd like to invite you to download my Secrets to Getting Approved Early Survival Kit that I created just for people like you. Currently, I'm making the survival kit available at no cost, and I encourage you to grab your copy now. Some of the topics I cover include: how do I know if I have a case? Is it the right time for me to file my claim? 9 common mistakes that can doom your case. The 3 must-have arguments you use to win your case. And a topic that every disability claimant wants to know: how to avoid trick questions from the judge. If you or a loved one need to win Social Security disability benefits, you'll find the Survival Kit essential reading. Download your Survival Kit right now and at no cost. Just visit ssdanswers.com/survival and sign up. It's that easy. Please act now. And as always, I wish you the best.